Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Renu, and today in this video we are going to be talking about a crucial topic, which is how to start speaking in English fluently as a beginner, or how we can start speaking in English as a beginner. So without further delay, let's get into the video. I got a comment one of my videos, and the person was asking how to start speaking in English as a beginner. When we are a beginner, we really don't know how to do and what to do. Listening, writing, reading and speaking. Right? When you are learning any language, these 4 points are important to cover, then only you guys can learn any language. So if we are talking about the speaking, this is all, it depends on other aspects also. Like if you are also listening, reading or writing, then it will be easier for you to speak. It will be really easier for you to speak as much as you want, because you are covering all the important points when it's about to speak, right? Because every and all four aspects, they are interconnected, interrelated. So you really need to cover all four aspects. Now the point is how to start and what to do. For listening, how to start listening, what we really need to listen. For reading, what to read and how much to read, right? How to start actually. If you are in beginner level, how to start reading some easiest thing. And if about writing, what to write so that it can be helpful and easy for us when we are beginners. And about speaking as well, what to speak and how to speak. So in this video I'm going to tell you what and how much you need to put in each and every aspect of this language. All right, so now first I would say about reading, what you actually need to read and how much you actually need to read when you are in your beginner level. So as much as I think, if you are a beginner, you should start reading everything which is around you. Like when you go to market, you see something, any pamphlet or any announcement, like you must have seen so many things around you, they are written in English. You can try it to read. If you are able to read, you can read it. Try to form that habit to read each and everything whatever is in English language, right? If you really don't have habit to for reading, you can start in this way. You can just start reading all the small tiny things which is around you. You can read them out, and you can just form this habit of reading in this way. And I'm sure slowly you will start reading more and more. And if you once you will habitual of reading small little tiny things around you, or some pamphlets or anything, poster or anything, then you can start with children books. Yes, children books, you can start with children books. There are so many short stories, and you can get some, normal basic vocabularies that can be really useful for your speaking skills as well. When it's time to speak for you, it will be easier for you what to speak, or in which moment. So you can start with this. Try to read each and everything around you, whatever around you. When you go somewhere, you see some different things, try to read them and try to get that habit of reading. And then you can enhance that by taking some books and start reading some books. Okay, let's move to the next part, that is listening. What you really need to listen when you are in your beginner level, right? There are so many things, and people share a lot of stuff on YouTube. Try to listen this and that, watch this movie, and so many things. Now when you are a beginner, you really get confused actually how to start some easiest thing so that you can understand as well when it's time to listen something, right? So mostly what happens when people are beginner, they start listening songs. And songs are really hard to understand. If you are a beginner, they are really hard to understand. You cannot understand them easily, right? So what you can do with podcast. Try to listen some different podcast or some different discussion, right? Because in discussion, people most of the time they speak with normal English, like it is something very basic, not advanced. So you can understand that, and you will feel really engaged. The important thing, you will feel engaged, right? You will feel engaged, and also can get some new vocabulary, and you can understand all the thing what is going on. Because in songs, when you listen songs, they are actually so fast. So when it's time to understand, it's really too much hard to get actually what the singer is singing. So you can do this when it's time to listening, improve your listening, or if you want to start listening in English, you can go with podcast or some different episodes. You can watch some different podcast on YouTube, and also you can listen some podcast on Spotify, and there are so many other apps. You can do that, right? Some different stories which is interesting, you can go with that, so that you feel engaged and you can understand each and everything what's going on. Because that's the only thing that will help you to develop your mindset and develop your listening skills, which is important to speak in English. Okay, so now for first thing I've shared with you about reading. Try to read everything whatever is around you. And next thing, try to listen some interesting podcast. Okay, just try to avoid in the beginning, try to avoid listening songs, because it can be hard for you as initial stages. On your initial stages, it can be hard to understand, but podcast, that can be easier for you to understand. And the understanding is really important, right? Because whatever you are doing, you are trying to get something from that. So start listening podcast. Okay, let's move to the next aspect, that is writing. Now what to write, right? You must have seen in different videos that try to write this and that and so on. Well, in this video I'm going to tell you which I tried when I was learning this language, and really it made easier for me to speak. The thing which I used to do in my initial stages related to writing, it really made easier for me to speak more and more. And I would say that the thing that is the most important thing, I tried to speak English. That was, I tried to write my imagination. Whatever comes in my mind, like whatever I did in entire day, or what is the thing, what are the things different which I'm going to do in next day or in my future. I try to write them down, and I try to create some illusions. For example, I'm giving some presentations in different places. So all thing about everything was imagination. I used to write so many things, and eventually it really helped me. I observed myself when I tried to speak. I could sense that yes, whatever I wrote before, it helped me so much to speak in English. It's really something it is that I have experienced, guys, and you can really try it. It is working. It is working technique. You can just write whatever comes in your mind, your imagination. Try to write what you want to do in your life, right? Try to write some past routine, what you did yesterday, what you are doing today, like in the evening or afternoon. You can just write whatever comes in your mind, your future imagination, your some wishes. You can write everything in simple words, and try to imagine that you are telling someone. Try to imagine that somebody is in front of you and you are telling to them that yes, these are the things I'm going to cover in my future, these are the things that I wish to do, and so on. You can write anything, whatever comes in your mind according to your imagination. It will be really a big help for you. Okay, so three things I've shared with you. reading, listening, and writing. Now, the important part is you know very well about speaking, right? This is the important thing we really need to do, speaking. Now, speaking is all about practice. To be honest, speaking is all about practice. As much as you are doing practice, you will be a fluent speaker. For me, I have done a lot of practice. I have done a lot of practice, so many discussions on different topics, and that's how I can even speak like this. I mean, I'm still in the process of learning this language, but at least I can express whatever is in my mind, right? So these all just because of the discussion, just because of the practice. Now here, for improving your speaking skills, you need to start with simple sentences, daily conversation sentences. You can just communicate with your friend, or you can do one thing as well. You can just write conversation that you are talking and your friend is talking too. You can write, you can make a proper conversation, and you can repeat it, right? You can repeat by yourself. You can just play different characters, one of your friend's character and your character. It will be a good practice for you. You are practicing by yourself. If you don't have anyone with whom you can practice with yourself. Try to create a complete conversation about any topic, regular life, anything. You can just communicate, right? So try to create and play some different roles. It will be also a kind of practice. See, in any language, if you really want to speak fluently, you really need to do a lot of practice, because speaking, it needs practice, right? Speaking comes from speaking only, and writing comes from writing. If you want to learn something, writing, reading, or listening, or anything, you need to do that exact thing so much, right? You need to put your additional concentration on that. For example, if I say here, author, they write, they focus mostly on writing, and just because of that, they write very well, right? They cannot we cannot imagine their imagination, their way of writing, because they are expert in their field, and they did enough practice of writing. So similarly, we can just apply here for speaking. We need to do a lot of practice if we want to be good in English language, of speaking English language. So if you want to speak fluently, smoothly, then you really need to do everything in English. Just try to speak in English everything all the time. Try to create that environment and your mindset too, so that you can be habitual of speaking English. All right, so I want to say, in the last, speaking part is the most important when it's time to learn English language. You can say fluently. When it's time to speak English language fluently, try to practice more and more. There are different ways to practice English speaking. If you want me to share a separate video about how to practice in different ways, then you can write a comment in the comment section. Then I will come with a separate specific video where I will be sharing what are some different ways to practice speaking skills of English language. All right, so this is the important thing, or these are all four aspects I really wanted to share with you guys, and I hope that I could share nicely and you can learn something from this video. If you have any doubt, any question, you can ask me in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. Let's meet in the next video.